This one's got a $35,000 set of carburetors on it.
Set of carburetors?
Yeah, carburetors.
You gotta mention
one
that.
set of 9. Hang on.
Let's roll with it. We're live.
Okay, all right.
Pete, tell us about this machine.
So again, once again, I'm probably one of the luckiest guys in the world. I was able to scoop this machine a few years back. Probably had it about 10 years in my collection. This was Wayne Gardner's 8-hour of Suzuka bike. And there's a lot to this bike. There's a lot of story involved on here. So I got it as in a bunch of parts, came from Japan, put it all back together and rode it on the track for a year or two, and then I put it as a street bike. And this is the bike, Kenny, that I died on. This is the bike that I got hit head on.
That's a whole nother story, man. You got to listen to this, guys.
8 years ago, I got hit head on by a doctor who was eating his own meds. I was going right down straight away. The other guy was coming towards me. He was like 10 feet from me, and he yanked right into me. Hit me at 60 miles an hour. I flew 50 feet. Hit a telephone pole with my shoulder, blew my shoulder apart, landed on the ground, and I was dying. Amazing thing that happens with the motorcycle community, all right? 3 guys had met the night before on the internet. They had ridden their motorcycles right to this location and were listening to the beautiful sound of the RC30 because it's a V4, very weird 180-degree crank, so it makes a weird sound. They were all watching. They heard me coming up the road. They watched this guy pace me. I fly, I hit a telephone pole, land at their feet. Wow. I'm at their feet right now, dying. One of them's a Navy trauma medic. He comes to my aid, takes my tongue out of my mouth. I stopped choking. The blood was coming out my ears. I was fucked up. This leg, bone came right out of the leg here. Bone came out of the bottom leg here, okay? So I'm on the ground and I'm dying. I'm 150 yards from a fire station. They race over there, one of the kids races over, brings somebody back over. The EMT say, we gotta get him out of here. We gotta call Lifestar. Boom, they get on the phone, fucking Lifestar's flying over right when it happened. Couldn't have been any better than that.
That's called the God incident, right?
Let me tell you something, Jesus was with me the whole way,
shining down, man.
Every step of the way. There wasn't one step second there, he wasn't there. So the helicopter lands in the parking lot. I get in this helicopter, they pack me in. I'm an absolute mess, man. I'm losing blood on the inside. I get in the helicopter, we go up. It's really loud, really bright. Then all of a sudden, it's just really bright. No more sound at all. And I can see the dudes talking back and forth. All of a sudden the lights went off, went burr, like you're shutting off your dial on your generator.
Wow.
It literally just went down. And then I was somewhere, I can tell you, this is the most fucked up part of the story. I was into this river of chocolate, like milk chocolate up to my neck. And I was going like this, kind of going through, and it was warm and fuzzy.
You like milk chocolate?
I do. I love fucking chocolate now, man. I love chocolate now. I see it, I gotta eat it every time, right? So I was in this milk chocolate river going down, and there was a light at the end.
Wow.
And I said, well, I guess this is where I'm going. I felt good. I was pretty happy, and I was real happy I wasn't on fire because that might have been
went either way.
Could have gone either way on that one. You know what I mean? But I went towards the light, and then all of a sudden, just like when you turn your shit back on, lights came on, and I'm looking at a dude in front of me with these 2 paddles. He had whacked me with the paddles and lit me up. And then he's talking. Then I started to hear him. They're saying, "No, you got to hit him again." And I'm going, "No, I'm here." And all of a sudden, he hit me again. Boom, hit me one more time. Like you can't even imagine being on fire, dude. I was in fire from the inside out. Okay.
From the shock.
Oh yeah. So after that, I went into a coma for. I was in a coma for 11 days. I went to the operating table. I died there for 2 minutes in the helicopter. Went to the operating table, and I died for another minute and a half on the operating table. They brought me back to life.
Wow.
And 8-9 days later, 10 days later, I woke up, and it was quite a ride, baby. It was quite a ride.
You can't kill a good man. And you know what? You can't keep him down either, because 180 days later, we were at South Lake on CR 500s, and he was ripping his 500 with his son and my son Junior. And then you went to Daytona and won the freaking amateur supercross in the vet class.
On the
next
500,
year, right?
yeah. That was the next year after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well,
so I'm a pretty lucky dude. Well, you know what? Just getting back to that whole story. Think about those guys, motorcyclists as a group, as a community. I always want to shout out to all the dudes that get on bike. We're all looking out for each other, man. You see a guy on the side of the road, I don't care if he's riding a Harley or a dresser or a Jap piece of shit or whatever it may be, right? I'm going to pull over. If I'm in a car or a truck or on a bike, I'll see if he's okay. You know what I mean? And that's a beautiful thing, man. There's a lot of community in the motorcyclists, So I was real lucky, man. So just so you guys know, listen to this. I broke 29 bones in that accident, okay? I broke 7 vertebrae in my back. I broke this shoulder. I got a plate in here. I got 8 screws going in my hip with a steel rod going this way, 4 more screws in my knee with another steel rod going down to my ankle, and I can jump up and down, motherfucker.
And still ride wheelies. Wheelie Wednesday.
That's right, Wheelie Wednesday,
Pete
man.
Paparosa. It's about to happen. Stay tuned. So,
all right, man.
Pete, was this bike right here, this very bike that you crashed on?
This is the very bike. I can send you some pictures.
It looks brand new now.
All right, so this was a big endeavor to get this bike back to where it is.
I mean, Pete, the paint job's off the hook.
All right, so remember, we're talking about an RC30 here. This is a 1990 RC30. They only made about 500 worldwide,
Wow.
maybe 1,000 worldwide, but it's a very low number, I believe. So in order to get a part for it in 2010 was impossible.
Yeah.
All right. So this tank, I bought another tank that was used, and this one was dented in really bad. We made a plastic mold of it, and then rebuilt this tank in aluminum. My buddy Lance built
the
this.
paint job's off the hook.
Lance did the paint. It's all paint and stickers, beautiful.
It's beautiful.
So I was hitting the front with it. So when I got hit in the front, of course it bent the front end really bad. So I had a CBR 1000 RR front end, a 2014 hanging around. So I grafted on, if you look over here, Ken, I grafted on these 2014 upside down front forks, and this is a custom made triple clamp.
Did you make this, Pete?
Yeah.
Pete's a machinist,
Yep.
master of many trades.
Yeah, well, masturbator most of the time. So yeah, over here, if you look, you've got radial brakes on a 1990 bike, which is 10 years later. You know what I mean? So, Olean's upside down forks. And there's a picture of what it looked like prior to the crash. I think I got a picture of the crash itself too.
No
I got to
shit.
show it to you.
That's before the crash?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, show him a picture of me in the hospital bed.
I don't think I have.
You don't have that one? That thing's crazy. I got one of those. So Ken, the cool thing about this bike was originally, again, this being a full World Superbike spec 8-hour Suzuka bike, it had every HRC piece you could buy. And this being the factory Superbike, this was Wayne Gardner's bike. This has a set of $35,000 Kean carburetors in here.
One more time, how much?
$35,000. They're magnesium Keans. All right.
Hey, you don't put the ethanol fuel through those, do
No,
you?
no. The
Wow.
carburetors alone were 35 grand. That was the kit price. Kean made 8 sets of these carburetors.
Wow.
And this is one set that's sitting in here.
So what did a bike like this cost? What would it cost new when it was built?
You couldn't even put a price on this new, Ken. This is a factory HRC bike.
If you figure in the fact that most shops charge $90 to $100 an hour, they've got thousands of hours
But
of
you
service.
can't even buy the
I mean,
parts.
it would be a $500,000 bike.
You can't get the parts. I
if you
mean,
had someone
the
build
bottom line
it
is
for you.
everything on here you can't get. That's an HRC pipe. I mean, can't find it. You know what I mean? They probably made 20 sets of them. You know what I mean? You've got an HRC rear wheel, Marcassini. All right? That's, for a single-sided swing arm. It's not around.
unobtainium.
Yeah, not around, nowhere. You know?
So there
But if you
wouldn't,
look in here,
there wouldn't be a shop around today that could duplicate it, right?
the only ones I know that would take the care and effort to do it would be you guys. I mean, if you wanted to really get into it,
Yep.
the Kaplan shop could do something like this. It would be a multi-year project, and you'd have to have a lot of this stuff made.
At $120 an hour, it'd get very expensive.
Yeah. And if you take a whiff of this stuff, remember this?
Oh, this is the
Here.
best smelling
This is the best
fuel.
part.
Hey, we don't need Red Bull. We don't need alcohol.
Here we
Just
go,
take
here.
a sniff of this.
Here you go.
Man, what is it? What is that?
That's MR12.
You don't even have to open the cap. You can smell it. It is pungent.
What's that?
It's better than coffee in the morning, man.
Oh, it was on here. It's over the cover there.
smell
That's
that?
right. Just leave it. Keep it. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
don't light any matches around this one,
Yeah,
huh?
no. So you know what? As a bike, as a handling bike, the way it runs. So this particular RC30 made a little over 145 horsepower, which in the time, if you think about it, this is 1990. This is huge horsepower. Now I know all you boys are all psyched because your GSXR and your Hayabusa and everything makes 200 horsepower today. But back 25, 30 years ago, this was badass. And you know what?
What's this one
Sitting
weigh?
here today, still badass.
It is. It's beautiful.
Yep.
It's a timeless design, really. The paint job's
Absolutely,
off the hook.
right? Yeah. Yep.
Beautiful.
So yeah, I've had a real good time. If you notice here, you've got sandcast magnesium cases. See on the inside here? That's an that's a sandcast magnesium case. Underneath, you got a magnesium sump. All right. Again, it's one of like 20 parts that were in the HRC.
They only made 20 of them?
They didn't make a lot of these HRC kits.
Yep.
So when you bought the RC30, you had to go and buy the race kit.
Now, Pete,
there were 3 levels of race kits.
Wasn't this before the production rule? So this was like a true factory
This
superbike.
is a true factory
Like, they
superbike.
couldn't do this today because they have the claim rule.
No
You
way.
can buy the bike, right?
Well, they had claiming rule then too, but this is again a factory superbike. This is nothing on here is looks like your regular RC30. You know?
The sandcast cases are beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, you ought to see the dry sump underneath. Big, huge oil sump. I mean, again, you got all, in this particular motors, all titanium rods. I mean, it's a real serious setup. The biggest thing is probably the ram air and the magnesium.
You're riding
coverage.
this on the street?
Yeah, I rode it on the street. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think I put like 1,000 miles on the street.
That's awesome.
I'm trying not to ride too much on the street anymore. Yeah, because I tend to just get on and want to wheelie everywhere. You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
thanks again, Pete, and God bless America.
God
bless
bless
Honda of America.
That's right.
For building kick-ass bikes like
right.
this.
God bless the motorcycle community, baby.
All
you
of
guys
us.
are all in there.
Amen.